Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine. You're listening to a new Redefining Security podcast. Have you ever thought that we are selling cybersecurity insincerely, buying it indiscriminately, and deploying it ineffectively? Perhaps we are. So let's look at how we can organize a successful InfoSec program that integrates people, process, technology, and culture to drive growth and protect business value. Knowledge is power, now more than ever.
There we are.
There we are.
Again.
Where are we?
We're live from somewhere. Live from many places, actually.
Some undisclosed location. We're going to keep it on the down low.
That's right.
Now, everybody knows where we are.
I don't know where I am. Please tell me.
You don't know where you are? Okay. Well, we are covering RSA conference, but we're doing it a little bit weird this year because we're doing it remotely.
We're in San Francisco.
Yeah. We're there. We're streaming live with friends that are actually there. Chris Pierson, welcome back to the show.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Yeah. Last time we chat talking about where we are, I was in Europe, and we were talking about MySpace. I'm still working on getting back on it, so you know.
Good.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to
a fun conversation. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to that episode with Chris.
That was really fun.
Get Marco's MySpace password.
Oh yeah, we've got it here. Don't worry.
You got it. And we talk about a bunch of stuff. We talk about the presentation that you were having at RSA conference, which by now you have done, I believe. So we're gonna get the feedback on that. But first of all, how does it feel to be back? Is it really back to normal? Everything like never happened?
Yeah, I mean it is. It's great to see you guys. Look, this year at RSA is 100% back to normal. You wouldn't even know COVID was here. They got the hand sanitizer out. First day, maybe Monday, they were checking the safe passes to get into venues and stuff. But the vendors are back. The show floor is back. The meetups back. Most importantly, the people are back. So the ability to actually go ahead and see your friends, give them a fist bump, a handshake, a hug. I mean, the amount of hugs going on here is crazy. It is so good to see people. I mean, former CISOs I used to, work with, teams I used to work with, people that I actually, worked for me. I saw a group of them the other day. It was great. And we see people from the VC community. All the parties are on, all the dinners are on. Some of them, they're a little bit thinner, but I mean, I heard Incubus is, the concert last night was just full-fledged part of, full-fledged there in terms of attendance. The cool thing is this: people are excited to communicate with one another about cybersecurity, about privacy, about technology, and yeah, we're just gonna knock it out of the park.
And speaking of the conversations, what are you hearing? Are you hearing things you'd expect to hear? Are you blown away by anything that's come up as you're talking to folks?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would say that overall there isn't anything that's like a net new. Oh my gosh! In the past 2 years since RSA was last year, that there's this new technology never been seen before and never been heard before. I would say I don't see any of that. But what I do see is some incremental progress from different companies. It's interesting. A lot of acquisitions happened during the time of COVID, so you're able to see how those companies have grabbed them in and really brought the technology and the pieces back together again. I think that's interesting. And more so, there are a lot of conversations that are happening outside of the halls, right? And in those suites in the hotel rooms, on the park benches over there at the gardens area. There's a lot of cool, exciting things that are happening and a lot of further discussions. But I mean, the industry did a really great job. I mean, they did a really good job with remote work and adjusting to that 2 years ago. Done a lot of work with APIs and kind of the push to the cloud, move to the cloud on multiple levels. So I think all those conversations are off and running and people are just excited to get back out at it.
What's the buzzword this year?
Oh my God. You know what's funny is I've not seen a buzzword bingo yet this year. Have not seen it. And it's actually nice and refreshing. Haven't seen that. I think, you're seeing a lot of, people on, API security and talking a little bit about that. I think in terms of supply chain, you have a few people, right, pushing more on supply chain and actually knowing and understanding more of what it is. But this year seems like hey, everybody, we've got the solutions. We've got the solutions together. Let's go hit those low-hanging fruits and make sure that we are safe, we are good, that we are protected. Obviously have the incident response and everything in there, but make sure that all those building block basics are good to go. And there's a lot of thought leadership this year, a lot of thought leadership, especially in the private dinners, a lot of thought leadership. So, yeah.
Maybe talk to me a little, Chris. I know you're well connected with the VC community, and you mentioned kind of the acquisition bonanza over the last couple of years. I always look at that, and I've had a few conversations on this show with some VCs about the idea that you might have a company that built the feature, you might have a company that built the product, you might have a company that built the solution, you might have a company that wrapped that in services, kind of that evolution of solution. And I'm just wondering, do you see a lot of the feature companies kind of being absorbed? What are you seeing, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, it's interesting. Where you have full-baked platforms, those large companies, we all know the names of them, they are out there. They are looking, they are actively either investing themselves, right? So a lot of them have spun up their own little VC arms, a lot of dry powder over the past 2 years to go deploy, and they've spun up their own kind of institutional capital, but their own VC arms to make investments. But we've also seen is that folks that are more feature plays are definitely right within the crosshairs of companies in terms of how can we as a larger company, get ahead, get an advantage, go ahead and bring this capability to bear. And they're just so nice in terms of acquisition play. I think as a result of some of the things happening in the broader market, that you're going to see a lot more of that in between now and even like next year's RSA in April, but probably between now and the end of the year, you're going to see a lot more of that convergence happening, especially for those feature play types of companies. So
very cool. And you mentioned the souffle, the souffle.
Now you're talking my language. Souffle.
I know. It's almost lunchtime. The supply chain attack, and I know you had a presentation about that because we talked about it before on our chats on the road here, and then you had another one about hacking back. So yeah. Apart from the fact that we already discussed what you were going to talk about, but how was to be back and do this presentation, and how were they received as you were doing it in person again?
Oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. I mean, starting out 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning, you always dread that for the supply chain. An hour and a half session, completely packed, wait list. It just amazing. And what was great is that the people that were there. And, when we said, hey, laptops down, phones away, everyone was snapped right to it. It was great because, with the East Coast presence, 8:30, they were able to, justify it a little more because of lunch and stuff, but everyone was there. They were engaged. It was a full learning lab. So people getting up on whiteboards, the large Post-it notes, joining forces. And the best thing of it, I mean, great topic, supply chain. So we walked through, some different scenarios, and broke people up into different teams. We had legal and compliance and security. We had marketing, board of directors, business line. Oh my gosh, the teams that loved playing board of directors, everyone wanted to be on the board. But these people, what was great about it is full-blown interactive throughout the entire session. And then at the end, every single table, they were still sitting there. They'd be kicked out, still sitting there exchanging business cards. So that not only were we successful in terms of having a dialogue and having a discussion, but what RSA is great for and all about are those connections. Some real connections were actually made at that session because those teams felt like they had, gone through a joint shared experience together. So that was great on Monday. On Tuesday, we had the hacking back. And oh my, what a wonderful topic. We actually, we did a little bit of a surprise thing. We actually brought the group that was with us through about 10 different scenarios that are in the gray zone. Maybe one was, pure, okay, great. And one was, no, you can't do that. But the other 8 were right there in the gray zone. It was so interesting at the beginning. They were so energized on, yeah, let's go hack back. We need to do more of this. But as you walk through each scenario in terms of increasing the proportionality of response, people really started to think, and they're like, wow, okay, now you've broken down each, here's where the line is set. And different people from different sectors, different ages, all the rest of this type of stuff, everyone had a little bit of a different take on it, which was wonderful. And then they were all empowered to take the conversation back. And last time we did this one, by the way, it's 10-year anniversary for us doing this type of hacking back presentation. And so it was amazing to see the difference in the audience. We really haven't changed much in terms of the debate or discussions, and we don't take a side on it. We just want people to have that discussion and debate. So really cool stuff, energizing all the way around.
Very cool.
Yep, and of course, if you hack back, there's always the hacking back, hack back.
Well, we actually talked about that, right? Which goes back to Stuxnet. So even if someone that is a more superior, perhaps cyber adversary, is able to create and craft something, once that live munition has left the keyboard and traveled somewhere else, and even if it is successful, once it is there, it, just like with Stuxnet, can then be disassembled, reverse engineered, taken apart, and sent back to the originator as what has happened, or multiple different originators as what has happened back then. So that shows, yeah, Sean, you're 100% right.
Congratulations, you won a prize.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk to me about, and obviously some of these dinners you're involved with, I presume we're Chat Mouse rules. You're connecting with your legal friends and your CISO friends and your VC friends, and so no names or any compromising stories. But you mentioned thought leadership, and I'm just thinking, put your CISO hat on. What are you hearing at that level that your fellow CISOs should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I think there were a few things. First of all was really workforce transformation in terms of how people are actually getting, retaining, attracting talent within their companies. So these are CISOs and the like, talking about how do they go ahead and keep that talent. Especially some of these companies are under mandatory, kind of CEO edicts of, hey, back to work, back to an office. And a lot of them saw some of the benefits of hiring a more diverse and spread out workforce. And so some of them are grappling with some of the things there in terms of how do you actually, handle that? How do you retract and how do you retain, attract the best people? And also for a lot of people, there's a mentorship aspect there in terms of how do you actually mentor remotely. So that came up a little bit. Kind of a second area that people were talking about was definitely this area of how do we continue to do more as the cybersecurity threat landscape increases with the current tools we have. Nobody thinks that cybersecurity budgets are going to be cut back. There's just way too much, too far behind. So that was great to hear. And everyone here is everyone here is looking for solutions. They're not looking for, super interesting. People are really focusing. We're not looking for a technology. We're not looking for a feature. We're looking for our problem to be solved. And that's what people are really focusing on. They want a solution, not just another platform or a SaaS-based thing. It's those days are done of, hey, more is better. They just want to solve it. The third thing that was super interesting is just, obviously the state of the economy and financing and all the rest. Really looking for great opportunities in the market, great opportunities to do more with less. And great opportunities to kind of push forward what they are doing and push it out further into the market. So there was some of that. And of course, right, maybe you guys will ask me, of course, transformative activities too, because that is, somewhat of the theme here this year.
Yeah, actually, I was going to go there because with the theme being transform, with my kind of ironic question to say, now you're back, everything is back to normal, which it gives that idea, and it's great at a human level that it's back to normal. But we all know that these 2 years and a half, and what came before with the digital transformation, we're not reverting time here. We're not going back in time. So this transformation keep happening. We don't know if people are going to go back to the office. I don't think anybody wants to do that. So there is all that transformation that is going to keep happening. So maybe put your thinking hats about what's going to be the next year in terms of how are we going to keep transforming the industry here?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that was front and center here this year in terms of transformation was one of the big problems from 2020. At that point in time, let's just say, for example, 1,000-person company might have had 100 VPN licenses. How are we going to go ahead and quickly spin up a remote workforce and do all those different things and not send people up and down the stack of security tools we have, and more, allow them to go out to those cloud stores and be an enabler of the business? And at first, broad stroke, a lot of people were at a no, this is not possible. It's not something we can do. The world would explode, and we all did it. Everyone did it. Everyone was able to get there. I think going forward, it's a new challenge. The new challenge is the absolute 100% acknowledgement that every single company, if you're that 1,000-person company, you have 1,000 remote offices. If you're a 10,000-person company, you have 10,000 remote offices. Little exaggeration, but the fact of the matter is that in some form or fashion, the landscape has been permanently changed. It is more likely than not that companies, our people, all the rest are going to be remote for part of the time. The home is the new battleground. It continues to be the new battleground. It is the soft underbelly of the corporation. It's a place where cyber criminals will be are looking, nation states will and are looking. And so we really have to do a lot to transform how we think about that perimeter. You can't just say, well, the perimeter is remote work. It goes well beyond that. We're thinking husband, spouse, wife, kids, significant other, all the other devices on in the household. It's not just about you. It's not just about your one laptop. It's about a much bigger and broader issue. So transforming for that remote workforce, permanent remote workforce, I think is going to be a big challenge for us. And of course, with that, I think everyone at this point in time is saying, hey, how can we go ahead and do more in the cloud to the extent they aren't there fully or aren't utilizing it fully? How can we do much more there?
Yeah, and I think you noted it earlier that you can't just focus on the technology. You want a solution. And so to remote work, it's not just about VPN and secure remote access and setting up Zoom for everybody, right? It's much more than that. And I know you do a lot of work at BlackCloak to kind of change the narrative for what's important and what to look at, certainly from an executive level and outside of cybersecurity for high net wealth individuals, wealthy people, I should say. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
So talk to me about what kind of conversations you're having around that, because again, it's beyond the technology. It's beyond the fact that there is a home office. It's more than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Look, the people that are the executives, every single person has an About Us website. Go to it. You go to your homepage, go to the About Us, go to the leadership page, go to it. What 20 people are there? What 10 board of directors are there? Every single person that we're talking to, every single person at RSA conference has one of those. Go there. Actually, look at those individuals there. They are inextricably tied to the company and, quite honestly, to the success of your company. They are a target in their personal life. They are a place where digital executive protection reigns supreme. They're 12 hours of the day that they're on a personal device, personal email account, that they have data broker information that's out there about them, passwords that are exposed, their homes, the home architecture that's exposed. All of these are, once again, soft underbelly and a way directly in to hack your company or to just steal intellectual property that exists within those accounts or other information. Or quite honestly, we just had a great conversation downstairs with a extraordinarily well-known CISO that every single one of their potential clients or customers or employees is someone that is a high-profile individual, let's just say. Look, those people, their lives, their personal lives are inextricably intertwined with their work life, and it's their reputation that matters. And so, yes, intellectual property, yes, corporate documents, yes, the ability to jump back and hack the company, but more so something that you can't get back, your own individual reputation, honestly, just your privacy for you, your husband, wife, spouse, kids, significant other. Huge attack vector, big area of exploit. And I guess, quite honestly, to my point before, just got to be solved. CISO, a lot of pain. They just want it solved.
Absolutely. And this is, as Sean mentioned, is a very large conversation. It touched privacy, it touched a lot of things that we have covered with you. We have a ton of conversation. I always go back to the first time that we met, actually at RSA conference. That was a few years ago. And, for everybody that wants to learn more about BlackCloak in this conversation, there are tons of ITs on ITSP Magazine. And I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're really busy. You're running. You're probably going to run somewhere else right now. So thank you for being one of our ears and eyes on the floor there. And great perspective. Absolutely great perspective. So thank you very much. And everybody else, stay tuned because we have some more live streaming right after this with some friends. And great to see you as always, Chris, either for real or virtual, still a good friend. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Great to see you, Marco. Great to see you, Sean.
See you, everybody.
See ya.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Redefining Security podcast. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.